Welcome to the Priestess of Motherhood Podcast. I'm Danielle Foster, clinical naturopath, energetics therapist, and guide to you on this wild journey of reclaiming your body, your cycles, and your sacred feminine power through your motherhood. So, if you're a woman who is tired of getting the same old answers, you're ready to dive deeper into root causes, and you're craving real connection with your body beyond just people telling you that you need the pill and giving you basic prescriptions, then this is the right place for you. So, today we're talking about missing our periods, irregular cycles, being blamed on our weight, all the lies that we're told from mainstream services. So, to start us off, I never had a regular period until I was in my 30s because it took me that long, decades of confusion, frustration, seeing so many different doctors. It took me that long to finally figure out what was really going on and to begin to actually heal. So I'd been gaining weight since childhood, and then my periods, I didn't get my first one till I was 16. Then they were really wonky as a teen. Um, and the doctor's response and answer when I was a teen struggling with things like that was to put me on the pill. And their reason was like what I had to do was go and lose some weight. So you must have a bit of a missing cycle because you're an overweight person, and go lose some weight, and we'll put you on the pill to help balance your cycles. There's so much wrong with that sentence, but that's what their response was. That's what their answer to my problems was. And I just wanted to be able to have a period that I could rely on, know when it was coming, plan around, and feel that connected to my body because, I wanted to be able to um be on the same path as the moon. I wanted to have that deeper connection. And because my periods were not regular, I didn't felt like I had that connection and I felt like there was something missing for me. So when I came off the pill, starting to find my own natural rhythms, as an early adult, my period still was missing in action, MIA. The doctors, I went to a few different doctors and they were like, well, you're not pregnant. So that's all we can really say. If you want deeper answers, then you're going to have to go and do all of this deeper um, exploration work. And I didn't want that. I was like, surely we don't have to go and physically dig down inside me to get these answers. There's nothing structurally going on here. I could tell that. Um, one minute. So yeah, there was nothing reason why. So I came off the pill. I was hoping to find my natural rhythm. The doctors just tell me, well, you're not pregnant. So I asked, well, how can I get a regular cycle? And they told me to get back on the pill. Cue my rage. I was just fuming. And this is probably one of the threads that led me to walking or separating myself from seeking answers from the medical profession and walking my own path and trying to work it out for myself. And I started studying. So I had my babies. People expected that I would struggle to have babies, and been having irregular cycles for my whole life. People thought that in my close circles that I would struggle to fall pregnant. You better start trying now if you want a baby after your wedding. But I fell pregnant pretty quickly, luckily. So I know it's not like that for everybody. Um, and I started doing women's work. I started holding circles. I started attuning my cycles or trying to attune my cycles with the moon and my emotional body, so tracking. And I learned more. I started studying naturopathy and studying deeper. I learned about PCOS and hypothalamic amenorrhea. So amenorrhea is the technical term for when we are missing our period. So that's where the story really begins, is when I started to delve into and learn these things for myself. That's what I'm here to help you with and share what I have learned and help you on your path as well. So the textbooks say that irregular periods are usually PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or HA, hypothalamic amenorrhea. So that's pretty simple, right? It's like this or that. Which one is it? So PCOS. that's what the doctors ended up pushing me down the path to that. But as somebody who was doing my own deeper healing, that didn't make a lot of sense to me because PCOS is usually diagnosed when you have 2 out of 3 of these things. So you need to have either irregular or missing periods. So, yep, I had that. You also need to have signs of high androgens. So, androgens, things like elevated testosterone, give you symptoms like acne, excess hair growth. So, growing hairs on your chin or neck or really coarse body hair, those types of things. But I didn't have those symptoms. And when I did my own pathology, I didn't have high androgens. Uh, it also comes up with polycystic ovaries on an ultrasound, and that is not a valid determination on its own either because our ovaries are producing lots of follicles at the same time. So having lots or poly, which means more than one, um, cystic, which could be the follicles, is not a high determinant that you have PCOS. The labs tests are also going to show not only just the elevated testosterone, but they often show a high LH to FSH ratio. So that's your luteinizing hormone to follicular stimulating hormone ratio. So this is a big key indicator as well. So on the other hand, HA or hypothalamic amenorrhea is about your brain or your hypothalamus in your brain. It's about sensing that you're in danger. So your hypothalamus shuts down your reproductive system, shuts down the brain's communication with your ovaries when your energy is low or your stress is high. So classic HA is seen most commonly, and this is what I was taught, was seen in underactive or very active women, like high performing athletes, with low or normal LH and FSH, low estrogen, no high androgens, no cystic ovaries. So that's determined the difference. So in my head, I pushed hypothalamic amenorrhea HA out of the picture. I wasn't underweight. I wasn't a high performing athlete. Okay. But I still had missing cycles, no high androgens, not polycystic ovaries on ultrasound, these different things. So here's the catch. Your weight alone doesn't define HA, but that wasn't brought up in the conversations. That wasn't brought up in my textbooks when I was reading through this. Something to realize is that the definition, let me find it for you. Hypothalamic amenorrhea is an energy deficiency. So it is a functional disruption of the hypothalamus caused by energy deficiency, so calorie deficit or excessive exercise, or physical or emotional stress, or structural damage. And yeah, it's characterized by absent or very irregular periods, low or normal LH and FSH levels, often low estrogen. Different things happening here. So I didn't have hyperandrogenism, no acne, no excess hair, no elevated androgens. This doesn't align with PCOS. No polycystic ovaries. The ultrasound didn't show cis. So rules out classic PCOS. LH to FSH ratio was off, but that alone wasn't highlighted as a PCOS symptom. Um, and I wasn't underweight. I wasn't the classic HA candidate. Uh, so I was stuck in this diagnostic limbo. I couldn't be diagnosed in either. I couldn't get an official answer from anybody. And so I didn't really have a path that I can go down. The only thing they were offering me was the pill. So there's this huge gap in how medicine views amenorrhea or missing periods. There's a weight bias where if you are overweight, if you have a higher BMI, then that's going to be the cast all blame and say, well, this is the reason why, go away and lose weight and then come back and see. So it wasn't giving a lot of support around what was needed here. Okay. So, yeah, Irregular periods aren't always just PCOS or hypothalamic amenorrhea. It could be thyroid issues. It could be elevated prolactin, adrenal stress, nutrient deficiencies, subtle insulin resistance, or even structural problems can be behind it. So that's why doing deeper testing is important, doing comprehensive hormone panels, checking in on your nutrient stores and seeing if you've got enough of your nutrients that are required to make the hormones that your body needs. Checking your metabolic markers, doing your adrenal tests, your ultrasounds are just as important as deep emotional and lifestyle assessments as well. So checking in, how is your sleep? I had 3 young kids. I was studying. I was not sleeping. This is a huge part of my healing journey is finding quality sleep. My stress levels through the roof. Young mother, uh, doing all of the things. Stress was massive. Eating patterns. I was not eating all day besides like 5 instant coffees. And then I was having a cheesy pasta bake to fill me up for dinner. And that was it. That was not enough nourishment. We're not getting the right nourishment from this. We were getting just simple, heavily processed carbs, no nourishment, just peaking that cortisol with the coffee all day, not getting the fuel that you needed. How's your relationship with your body, your relationship with your emotions? All of these impact your cycle. So diving deeper, physically, we want to look at your full hormonal picture. We want to see what your FSH, your follicular stimulating hormone, and your LH, luteinizing hormones ratios are on day 3 of your cycle to see what they are at baseline. Are they in equal proportions or are they out of alignment? We want to know what your estrogen and your progesterone levels are like. We want to know what your testosterone levels are like, your DHEA, prolactin. We also want to know your thyroid hormones. We want a full thyroid picture, not just your thyroid stimulating hormone, but we also want to know your thyroid hormones like T4 and T3, as well as reverse T3 to see where that's going. And we want to know if you have thyroid antibodies, which are complicating your picture. We want to know what your nutrient picture is like, what's happening with your iron. Is your body utilizing this correctly? Are you able to absorb things like B12, or is your gut in disrepair? Are you getting enough magnesium, or is your stress levels burning through things like your magnesium, your vitamin C, your B vitamin stores, your zinc, your vitamin D? We're also going to check things like your fasting insulin and glucose levels, because insulin resistance plays a huge role in not only just stubborn weight holding, but also in you're regulating your hormones as well. So this is a big thing to check, especially if you've been given indications of PCOS. This is definitely something that we want to have a look for a root cause approach. We also want to check in on those cortisol rhythms. Doing a cortisol awakening response test using saliva is a really good way to see how stressed you are and how your body is responding to your daily stress patterns. And that's going to tell us how your adrenal glands are coping. And if we need to, we can do ultrasounds around your ovaries, your uterus, to see if there is any structural problems going. If that hasn't already been checked before, then we'll be looking to refer and check into those things structurally. So, emotionally and functionally, we need to assess your stress levels. We need to assess history of trauma, your nutrition quality, your movement habits, your mind-body connection, and tuning into your cycle. Are you attuning with your body, or you are just surviving in your body? These are big things to decipher when we're on a holistic healing pathway. So, in the Priestess of Motherhood mentorship, we do this deep work. We combine the physical, the functional pathology with the emotional load, with the shadow work and the deeper underlying patterns that come with that. So, we dig past all those surface symptoms to uncover what's going on with your unique hormonal and energetic blueprint. So, we create these holistic healing plans that are really customized to work with you and where you're at and what your needs are, and looking off your results, your symptoms, and building a pathway that works around your story, nourishing your body, balancing your hormones, restoring your nervous system, and opening space for your sacred cycles to return so you can really find that belonging in your body again. I know how much you want to find that. So you'll learn how to align with your natural rhythms. I teach you about recognizing the different signs within your hormonal cycles, your menstrual cycles, learning about your cervical mucus and how to read that, how to read your temperature and build these patterns. We do all of that in the mentorship. And then you can link them up with things like the moon and the seasons and tune into your emotional body and feel really held through this transformation of coming back and reclaiming your body. So that's the holistic power of it all. So it's not just about periods, it's about reclaiming your power as a woman and a mother and your own self healer. So, if this episode has spoken to you, if you're done being misdiagnosed, misunderstood, or simply overlooked, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you don't miss another conversation about this. Reach out to me on Instagram at Dania Foster Naturopathy. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your struggles and what you have overcome. Um, this journey is about reclaiming your body, your cycles, your sacred power. And you're not alone in this. I've walked this path before and I'm coming back for you. It's so important for me. So if you'd like this, let me know. If you have got things that you want me to speak to, let me know. Share with me what you want me to talk about. Coming up at the end of this month, I am holding a free connection circle called Nourish to Thrive. And it's all about finding that body connection, using food as medicine, attuning with our cycles, finding confidence within our body and overall weight and shape, and bringing that all together. So let me know what your thoughts are. Lots of love to you. I hope you have a wonderful day.